Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I thought I'd bring you another fun hypothetical versus scenario in a series I like to call Who Would Win? In tonight's video we've got two creatures from two creature features, both from the year 1997, making them both 25 years old. No, it's really not that long ago. Actually, it is a pretty long time now that I think about it. Anyway, I just happen to be rewatching. I got it on pause right now, actually. I happen to be rewatching one of my favorite creature features from the 90s, and there are quite a few of them, but this is definitely up there with one of my favorites from the 90s, called The Relic from 1997, starring Penelope Ann Miller and Tom Sizemore. And it's about a legendary monster that makes its way from Brazil to the Chicago Natural History Museum and runs amok eating people. It's a great watch and a fun ride if you enjoy movies like this one. If you enjoy monster movies or creature features, it's right up your alley. So that's a good one. And then it got me wondering who would win in a fight between Kothoga, which is the monster in The Relic, that's what it's called, and the Anaconda from another creature feature in the same name from the same year, Anaconda. Who would win in a fight between Kothoga versus Anaconda? And now that I think about it, I'm going to have to go with Kothoga, mostly because it's big, it's strong as hell, massive, surprisingly maneuverable. The Anaconda is also huge and maneuverable and can crush the life out of you and squeeze you to death, literally, much like a real snake can. But I feel like it would try to wrap itself around the Kothoga, and it would fail because the Kothoga has got such sharp claws that even like if it had the Kothoga crushing, like squeezing between itself, the Kothoga could have one massive claw that was still free and cut the snake right in a sensitive spot, hurting it enough to just loosen its grip on its potential prey. And then the Kothoga turns the tide of the fight and clamps down either right on the snake's head or right here at its throat, or where its throat would be on its body. It's a fun match to think about, and the reason why I thought of these two monsters in particular is because they're both films came out in 1997. Both were mild box office hits. Both were heavily hated by the critics and both films received mostly negative reviews. Anaconda over the years, I think, has developed a new appreciation and cult following, now considered a cult classic. And despite the negative reviews when the film first came out, it was actually quite the box office hit for Sony Pictures. On the Paramount end of things, Paramount is the one who made The Relic. The Relic was projected to be a box office bomb, but ended up actually making 5 times as much money as originally estimated on its opening weekend only. So on its opening weekend, it was a box office hit, but sadly it ended up earning more money. It ended up earning less money than the movie actually cost, so I think it cost Paramount a pretty penny. The film itself was like between $40 and $60 million on a budget, and the total box office gross was either between 33 or 48 million. Still a lot of money, but feels like they lost a couple mil due to this film, which is probably why we never got any sequels, which is too bad because I recently found out while reading about The Relic that it's actually based off a series of books, and this first movie was based off the first book. I don't know how many books there are or if the writer is even still alive or writing them to this day, but it would have been fun to see more movies based off The Relic, because I think it's a seriously underrated, unappreciated creature feature from the 1990s, and there were a bunch of them. Arachnophobia, Tremors, the first Tremors, Anaconda, The Relic. I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple more, but those are some of my personal favorites that I can think of off the top of my head. But I don't know if there are any plans on Paramount's end for a Relic reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it. However, I know about 2 years ago in January of 2020, right before COVID happened, Sony confirmed they had hired a screenwriter to pen a script for an Anaconda remake. Now, unfortunately, since then, we have heard zilch about it. However, in light of the recent development for the Arachnophobia remake, which finally gave us a writer and a director in the form of Christopher Landon, London, who recently gave us the horror comedy Freaky, starring Vince Vaughn. Anything is possible when it comes to films that were announced several years ago, and sometimes it takes a few years for them to gestate and then finally bloom into an official update, whatever that update may be. So the Anaconda remake is probably still on its way. It's just taking its slow time to slither its way towards the screen. But getting back to a fight between these two, I think the Kothoga would win simply because its surprising maneuverability and its pure strength and how it's almost all muscle and just how unbelievably strong and big it is. Where the Anaconda might have an advantage or the upper hand if it happens to get itself wrapped around the Kothoga. But even if one claw on one paw was loose enough and it had just enough strength to scratch the snake, I think Kothoga would get the upper hand and take the big snake down. So, what do you guys think? Who would win in a hypothetical fight between these two 1997 monsters? Kothoga or Anaconda from Anaconda? Let me know what you think down below in the comments section. Have a wonderful rest of your night. I hope you were somewhat amused and informed by this hypothetical versus scenario. I'd love to hear your thoughts and feelings on it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your night. Both Anaconda and The Relic are available on multiple streaming platforms for your viewing pleasure. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. Thanks for watching. And of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.